Yes, and we are live for Homebuyer Academy Live. It's your boy Chad Murray and my brother from another.
Maurice, what's up? How you guys doing tonight?
And man, my guy Maurice got us with all of the studios set up. My guy got us proper. Look
Um,
at my mic, y'all.
I know,
Hear
right?
me
This is,
now? Hear
you
me
know,
now?
try.
Uh,
Let, let me take a quick listen here. As always, I want to make sure you guys hear us loud and clear.
yeah. But pardon for the tardiness. We were a bit late. Crazy day. But here we are, we made it, and we're here to serve. And the whole purpose of Homebuyer Academy is to demystify the home buying process, to make sure that you get to your home buying goal with ease, with comfort, and the guidance that's going to make the process just a matter of time.
Yeah, so we're excited tonight. We're going to be talking about finding your perfect home, finding your dream
Mm-hmm.
home, and getting you in the mindset on that process. Because there's a lot to that process. I'm going to share my personal journey, and then tonight it's going to be coached with Chad sharing his expertise in the area. And we're going to come together and collaborate for that, and give you guys exactly what you need to be successful in that space.
Yeah, man. And we got our setup here at the crib
Mm-hmm.
in the backyard. Beautiful view, right? Well, y'all
You
can't see.
actually, you want to
You can
you want to
show them a
show them the
little bit.
view?
Show them a little
Show
bit.
them a little something,
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
something that we got
yeah,
going on.
yeah,
Got the
yeah.
pool.
Got
We
the
in
pool.
Florida, y'all. We in Florida.
Got the yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have an office, but I never want to go because I love working right here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing better than working with a view that inspires you, and I'm blessed and fortunate to be able to have this view. So I want to show you guys the process
Mm-hmm.
because just like I had to go through the home buying process and Mo had to go through it, there are many people, millions of people around the country who have the ambition for home ownership, but there's a roadblock. For a lot of people, it's credit. Other
Right.
people, it's income or down payment. And what we want to do is really work with you so that those things that are mountains can be turned into the molehills they actually are, because you could do
Mm-hmm.
this. And I always tell people, Mo, if you look outside your house or look outside wherever you live, just look to the left and look to the right. And you're going to see examples of a whole bunch of people that have done it before you. And they're not smarter than you, they're not more destined than you. As a matter of fact, they're just waiting for you to buy your house too. So you could join the home buyer club.
Yep. And so, as always, we're going to start with getting you guys grounded because it's been a long day. You can hear the kids in the
They
background, probably.
wilding.
Uh, and
No
so,
snack, no peace.
right. And so part of that process, you got to adapt. And so we want you guys to, take this time here to focus, get your mind focused on the day. We call this grounded with gratitude, right? The whole day can get you distracted. The whole day can take you away from your focal point, but just take a moment to just be grateful. You may be on a home buying journey, but you have a place to live right now. You have a roof over your head. You have food. I want you guys to jump in the chat right now. I'm gonna add something that we're grateful for. I'm grateful for my family. Whatever you're grateful for right now, I want you guys to comment below. Say I'm grateful for, and we're gonna take a couple minutes just to kind of just reset our minds for the day. Take a deep breath and just inhale, exhale, blow away the stress for the day. Inhale,
Yeah.
let go the worries. Again, just to say, allow God to just minister to you. Allow your thoughts to just be let go. We want to get into this moment. We want to get grounded. We want to get focused on what we are doing here today. Right? Don't worry about the kids. Don't worry about the job. Don't worry about that commute home. Don't worry about you overheated your hot pocket in the microwave today. Don't worry about none of that stuff. Focus on what you're grateful for, and allow that to guide you into this segment here. Because when you add that gratitude, when you're grateful for the things that you have in your life, it, and then you start achieving those things, you have more things to be grateful for. I'm grateful for my family, but I'm thinking of, wow, I'm grateful that I have a house to provide for my family. You might be grateful to put food on your table. You might be grateful that you don't got to walk to work. You might be grateful for what you grateful
So
for.
man, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm going through it. I'm going through a very interesting season in my life, right? Um, and what I'm grateful for is the power of interpretation,
Mm,
because you could be hit with something that could be a challenge, but in your wisdom, you could turn it into a benefit. So I've been invited to take an extra few hours out of my day to drive, right?
Hmm.
Which is a bummer. Cost mad gas, mad toll, mad time. But now I have more time to catch up on my audiobooks. I'm being intentional about phone calls that I didn't want to make. Been catching up with people I want to catch up with. So I'm taking that
Mm.
burden and taking it and turning it into a blessing. So I'm grateful for the ability to turn a burden into a blessing. And hopefully tonight we could be a blessing for you. So if in this time we hit you with something that is a blessing for you, please put it in the comments so that we know what's hitting home. All right.
No, that's very powerful, man. Because like when you really think about it, y'all, that is so powerful. When you think about the situation you thought was gonna be one thing, but you turn it into something positive,
Right.
right? Right? Like even in the home buying process, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought like the house I wanted originally was gonna be my ideal house, but I couldn't get that house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was blessed to get the house I have now, and I love where I live, man. I know you got to take a plane and a taxi to come visit, but
Word.
but I love where I live, man.
The
And
Far
so
East, but we love it too.
let's get into tonight's lesson. Let's talk about you know your dream home checklist.
Well, it's all about finding your dream home. It's
Okay.
all about finding your home, right? And I know people say dream home, and I want you to be clear, right? The next home doesn't have to be the forever home. And I think a lot of the times when you go through this home buying process, people get really, really uptight and think, oh man, but this house doesn't have this or this house doesn't have that. But guess what? Your rent doesn't have equity. No matter how much of it you pay, you'll never build $1 worth of wealth. Think of this next house as the cornerstone to the wealth that you plan on creating in your life. So, how do we get started with that? And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. How do we actually start the process of helping you to just conceptualize finding that next home, which is still going to be a dream, even if it's a 2-1 in an area that might not be the most desirable, but it will be yours, your dream. Yeah.
So to kind of start off, I guess to kind of kick things off, I do kind of want to share my story and my journey. And everybody's home buying process is different. We've been speaking at all these different places for a while now, where I was sharing. I'll share my story. We do financial literacy all around Orlando. We have a speaker series that we're doing now with some churches. So shout out to all the Orlando churches that are getting locked in. And if you're in the Orlando area, shameless plug right here, if you're watching and you're in the Orlando area or you know somebody or you go to church and you're watching, let us know. We come out and speak for free. We want to do our showcase. We want to do our lessons here live in person at your location at no cost. But just to digress back to my story, me and my wife years ago, we was looking for a house. We was determined.
Yeah.
This is when Josh was just born. Josh was just born. We was like, we gotta expand. Ain't no way we're gonna have 5 people in this 2-bedroom apartment. And so we decided that we wanted to go house hunting. We had a friend of ours that she was an awesome realtor. Shout out to Dawn if you're watching. She was so helpful. And we talked about this a while ago, where it's like you have to know you have to have somebody that's gonna have your back. And she was awesome. Like she let us know like everything that we needed to know. And then, but it got to a point where it just one house after another was not working out for us. Then I'm at work one day, and this guy comes in, and he's like, "Hey, can you help me with my business?" And I'm talking about the business, and I just strike up conversation like, "Yeah, we've been looking for houses for some time." And he was like, "Oh, have you ever heard of Leesburg?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Oh, it's not that far from here." It actually was. But he was like, "I got some properties out there." Turns out this guy was like the uh, president of the builder company. And so when he said he had properties, he meant that he had properties, right? And so when when I was telling me when he was telling me about, they have a new area out there, my wife and I, it was the next day I was off for work. I was like, okay, we'll go check it out. We're driving out there. My wife is like, I'm not, every inch that was going, every mile that we was driving, she was like, I'm not moving out here. I'm not moving this far out. We get there, the guy was like, hey, since you're already in the home buying market, can I look at, what you guys have going on? Can I pull your credit? Since you guys are already in the market. And we was like, yes. Comes back with a for sale sign. And he's like, yeah, you guys got approved. And my wife was like, no way. Like, what do you mean we got approved? And he said, yes, you got approved. Let's go look at the house that you qualify for. And it was like a decent size, small, like 2 bath. And I was like, do you got anything bigger? And then he went to the system, looked up. He's like, we actually have one more property that's going to be built on the last street that we're constructing, and we got a 4-2. That's the house that we live in now, and we got to see it from like the dirt, the gravel, to the house being built. And fast forward, our family's in this house. It's becoming our own. My wife has a garden that she's building. She got chickens that she wanted. She's everything that she envisioned. And I remember we had this paper, because we do the whole vision board thing. We write our vision out. We see what it want to looks like, and then we write things down. So that's all we do. This every year. And this the year prior, we had drew out. She had actually drew the landscape. I think I still have that paper, where she said, "This is how many rooms I want. This is what I want to look like outside." So everything that we got now in the house was what she envisioned for us. And it's a blessing when and that's why I like to start with gratitude, because it's a blessing when you believe and put faith in something. God does it, and you work through it, and then it looks like it wasn't what it was going to be, but then it turned out an opportunity that blessed us to where we're celebrating as of February. Been in that house for 5 years now.
That's awesome.
5-year homeowner.
That's awesome, man. And look, it happened for Maurice. It happened for his family. It can happen for you. Now, all kind of markets have different conditions, right? But what we want to talk about tonight is first and foremost setting up the process to where you start your search. And then from there, really starting to implement some of the real key details in the journey so that you at least are prepared, so that you're not totally overwhelmed by the journey. Because we want you to be able to enjoy the process. Of course, there's going to be like elements of it that might not be so warm and fuzzy, like submitting an offer, right? When you submit an offer and you've committed your heart to that house, like the last thing you want to hear is somebody beat you out by $2,000, right? But you have to come to peace with all of that and know that you do all you can in your process, and just let the pieces fall where they may. But we're going to help you to get ready so that as we go through it, you're fully prepared as much as possible. So again, tonight we're talking about finding your dream home, right? Finding your home. Now, a big part of that is being aware as to what kind of a market you're in. Now, if you're in the comment section right now, who could tell me what market we're in right now? Are we in a buyer's market or are we in a seller's market? So if you have a guess, let me hear what your guess is, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and leave you in suspense for no more than a few seconds. But if you said that we're in a seller's market, you are wrong. We actually just left the seller's market now. Every market around the country is different to a degree, but normally there's going to be a lot of characteristics that are similar. So just to clarify what a seller's market is compared to a buyer's market, a seller's market is a market where the seller holds all the cards. That means that there's not a lot of inventory, but a whole bunch of buyers. Typical supply and demand. So when there aren't many houses, but a lot of buyers, what that's going to do is drive the price of real estate up. And if you have a house to sell, you could put a for sale sign in the front of the crib at 12 in the afternoon, and by the time you come home for dinner, you'd have a bunch of offers. But what's happened is over the course of the last few months, and it's been a rapid shift, right? There's been a lot more properties on the market. There's a lot more inventory. So the truth of the matter is that we're probably just on the brink of a buyer's market. It's not full-fledged, but all of the tea leaves show that that's where we're headed. And what that means now is that there are more houses coming onto the market than there are buyers ready to buy. Now, what makes that happen? We have higher interest rates, right? Higher interest rates and high home prices, and Also, foreclosures aren't being as protected as before. I know people that were able to be in foreclosure and not have to move or sell their house for years. But with the new administration in town, there's not going to be that same level of security. So, with all of these different factors, now we see ourselves going from a seller's market into a buyer's market. So, if you're a buyer, get ready. These markets generally have a lifespan of 7 to 10 years. We just came out of a very strong seller's market that lasted probably about right around COVID, right before COVID up till now. So that's just going on 7 years or so. Well, right before like 2019 or so.
Mm,
So it's about a 7 year cycle, 7 to 10 years, right? So
mm,
now if you're looking to buy, now's the time to get your credit right. Now's the time to get ready for savings, but also look into the different down payment assistance
mm.
programs that are available. And you know, I gotta ask you, Mo. So
Yeah,
you're a negotiator.
yeah,
Maurice does a lot of sales. Like he's a sales master. If you
right.
had to apply your sales skills to real estate, what are some things that you would recommend that people do when supply is in their favor? Because that's the reality. Right now, there are a lot of
Yes.
houses. How would you navigate that? And I'm gonna drop the real estate tip.
Yeah, so I would say I'll say know exactly what you're looking for. Because when there's a buyer's market, that means there's more than enough in a sense. Like you're gonna have a better chance of finding exactly what you're looking for. And then knowledge is power, and knowledge is so powerful because if you understand how the market works, then you won't get like sway. Like for example, in a seller's market, if you have the wrong realtor, you might end up
Right,
on contract with a house that's not worth what you're paying for it, right?
right,
So knowing that, and we talked about it last week, having the right team, and learning, because the more information you know, the better it is for negotiating.
right,
And knowing, and even researching the community, right? For example, you can be in a decent community. If you do your research about what's happening in that community, you can negotiate your price down based on what's coming, or you can say, hey, based on this or based on these features in your home, you can work it into the cost.
right.
So, and that's where like inspectors and all those other people on your team are going to come to benefit you, because you could say, hey, I see I had this problem. If you take care of this and work that into my price. And I know it sounds like it's all over the place, but all these little pieces come together when it comes to negotiation. The more you know, the more powerful, experience you'll have.
Right. So being that we're in or going into a buyer's market in most places around the country, these are the things that you really want to understand. Now's the time that you can negotiate. You could put an offer on the table and you just fold your arms and wait. Before, you didn't have the luxury. You had to move fast. You had to dance to the seller's beat. Now with things flipped around, what you're able to do, and this is a major, major piece that you want to incorporate if you put this up there.
Yeah.
You want to negotiate a seller's concession. What that means is that the seller, inside of the price of the house, let's say that the house is for 500,000. A 1% seller's concession would mean that the seller is going to give you $5,000 towards your closing costs. And that's going to be built right into the cost. Now, it could be built into the cost or added on top of the price. But either way, what that does for you is it allows you to buy this house with less money coming out of your pocket. You couldn't do this in a strong seller's market, because rather than you getting a credit for closing in a seller's market, if the price was 500 and you come at 555, I'm sorry, like 595, 495, sorry, people are going to outbid you. So in that kind of a market, you have to go above asking, which is what we just came from. But right now, you could actually meet the asking price, but ask for the seller to pay for your closing costs inside of this. Now, if you're getting a conventional mortgage, you can go up to a 4% seller's concession. If you're getting an FHA mortgage, you could go up to a 6% seller's concession. So at that point, now you'd be able to cover just about all of the closing costs plus some of your own down payment. Now, think about it. What kind of seller would actually pay 6% of your closing costs. A motivated one. A motivated one.
Yeah, so let's talk about motivated sellers really quick. So when you say motivated sellers, what are you like saying?
No, well, that's a great question because motivation comes when there's generally a life change.
Right.
So what you're gonna see motivated sellers, somebody in the family passed away, a breadwinner passed away, mom, pops, granny, and now the family is left with this responsibility that they might not be equipped for or might not be interested in. One of the hottest markets in real estate investing is the probate real estate market, which means that people who didn't leave a will, that property has to go through the probate court where they're able to decipher who has the right to own and sell the property. So they're going to go through all of the next of kin. But now, let's say that you own a property in Florida, right, and you live in Wisconsin.
Right.
Sounds like a blessing, but now I got to pay taxes on something. I got to do landscaping on this, and you never know if the roof is going to blow off. This is more of a liability than it is an asset to some people. What is the asset? The equity that's locked into the house. So for people like that, they're going to be willing to say, hey, listen, if you could close fast, I'll go ahead and pay some of your closing costs. For somebody that's going through a divorce, motivated sellers, oh man, they need to move now, especially if now they're under the cost because of a court order where they have to sell by a particular time. That's a motivated seller. Another really strong motivated seller are people that are going through foreclosure for any kind of a scenario. It could be taxes. It could be that they lost their job. But these are the kind of motivations that you want to look for in the open market, but also when you speak to your real estate agent. One big indication of a motivated seller is a property that has a lot of days on the market. And you see their price dropping on the MLS, right? That's the multiple listing service. That person at a point is going to get motivated because, hey, listen, I thought I was going to get top dollar and the market showed me otherwise. They're going to be more motivated than somebody that put their property on the market for top dollar, but it's only been a weekend. So they're going to give it some time to test it out, right? So those are some things you want to consider, right? And also, like in your case, you had a motivated seller too, right? That builder, right?
Yeah, he was actually motivated because it was new build, and in that space he I think he was doing his job. He was doing his due diligence of bringing people that look like because he knew I was a motivated buyer.
Right.
And
It's
so
the
at the
best
same
match.
time, yeah, best match. I was a motivated buyer, and he was looking for somebody to fill these houses up. So he
Yep.
said, "Come out to my property, and let's see if we can hook you up." So yeah,
And builders right now have overbuilt. There are a lot of properties that are still going up that we're still anticipating to be able to sell inside of the market, and they missed the boat. So look for builders as well because they're going to be willing to give you closing costs. They're going to be willing to buy down rates. That's probably a place where you could find some of the most motivated sellers right now, builders.
and we talking to the people in Florida already looking to buy, not people coming from. We don't want none of y'all coming from out
No,
of
no, no,
state.
no, no. We full. We
we
full.
full. We full.
Chill, New
Yeah,
Yorkers.
yeah. All y'all New Yorkers and
Yeah.
Californians, y'all
Go ski. Go
go,
skiing.
go. We don't want
It's
y'all.
March and we outside in
Stop
short
at, stop
sleeves.
at
Nobody
Georgia.
wants
We good.
this.
Stop
Stop at
at
Georgia,
Georgia,
right?
please.
Atlanta's calling your name.
Yeah.
No, seriously though, like there's more than enough room for everybody.
Yeah.
But those are places that you want to look. Motivated sellers. You want to look for builders, people who are going through life situations, and people are conflicted in many cases. They
Right.
think that that's like you taking advantage. No, they need help. They need someone to take this off their hands. Who are you to tell them no?
Yeah. And I just want to throw this plug in real quick before we talk about home values. Go back and watch our live from last week because we talked about building credit. We talked about preparing for
Right.
home ownership. Because if you don't get into your house the right way, you don't want to be a motivated seller.
Right.
6 months into your home, 1 year into your home, you don't want to be a motivated seller. So go back and watch last week. Basically, motivation on how to not be a motivated seller when you're entering into your home. But let's get into home values.
Right. So home values pretty much is how you dictate how much wealth you're able to build. in buying a property and owning a property. Now, as you buy a property and you let the property sit, values are going to go up. So what that does for you as an owner is that's where your wealth is going to be realized in equity. But also, you want to know when you're in the market to look for a house that you're not overpaying for a property. So, what do you do about that? So, there are a few things that you can do to help you to establish the value of a property. Now, the first baseline that you can actually start with is one of these online search tools that we all know and love, like Zillow. And you could take a look at the Zestimate on Zillow. Is it accurate? No, but it's going to give you a range of what the properties in the areas are hitting for. Because you'll see if you go further on down that page, and I wish we could have shared that screen. We'll do that next time. That's pretty cool. You can see that they have a range of what similar properties have sold for, and it's generally a range of maybe 5 to 10%. So even though it's not always dead accurate, it gives you an idea, and you can take a look at the other properties that have sold, so you can see the comparables in terms of bedrooms. You can see the number of bathrooms, if it's in a similar kind of condition. Those are things that are going to determine if a property is similar in value. Is it on the right side of the tracks or the other side of the tracks? Those
Right.
things matter.
I did have a quick question.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about like home values. I'm thinking of like, does the market shift like as far as like rate? Like, is it because the rates are going down, or what? Like, what are some other, I guess, key factors? Like me, just personally, want to know
Right.
from what you see, like home values. Like, do they drop in value, and that makes it more easy to buy, or?
So to be honest with you, I think that the values have been artificially induced. And two of the big reasons why I feel so is because first and foremost, foreclosures are an organic part of every real estate market. People go through stuff. People pass away, people get divorced, people lose jobs. And in that process, properties go to the market, but it's important to have a certain amount of the population that's a motivated seller so you can get deals, right? Not just so
Right.
you can get deals, but what was happening is that since I think it was before COVID, they did a moratorium on foreclosures, meaning that they weren't foreclosing on houses, which gave people an unrealistic confidence in not being able to pay their mortgage. So right now, about 11% of all FHA mortgages are in default.
Oh wow,
You know what I mean? That's a
that's
lot.
a lot.
That's a lot. But a lot of those people hadn't been foreclosed on, so they're not paying their mortgage and they're just chilling. So now, with those people not being motivated, the market's out of whack because every seven on the street is acting like she's a 10. And every scrub is acting like he's a baller. You see what I'm saying? So there's an imbalance in reality, which caused the imbalance in the market. So now, without those properties and people saying, hey, I need to sell, which is going to take some of the buyers away from the highest price properties, right? And now everybody's saying, yeah, give me top dollar plus 5.
Right.
And that's why the market went up so drastically, in my opinion. And also had a lot of variables like um, down here in Florida, a lot of people were leaving from California and from New York. And then like places like New York,
Right.
man, those prices are ridiculous. Two families in Queens, in Brooklyn that used to sell for like 300-400, going for like 1.5, 1.7 mil regular.
I seen someone posted on Instagram. It was like 2,500 for like a little shack studio. Like
Nah, it's crazy.
you can't even like move your arms like this.
And that's a
But
function of
yeah,
population
that's
density,
true.
and there's just a lot of money in New York.
Yeah.
So now we are seeing that shift. So you really want to get yourself prepared. You want to get yourself really, really ready because there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to take advantage of. And he who has the buyer has the gold. And if you are the buyer, you're ready to win.
Yeah, and I want to encourage anyone because it might not look like you might look at your bank account, you might look at your credit score, and it's important for you guys to join. That's why I'm gonna plug in right here. Join Home Buyer Academy live every Tuesday. Join our 2025 Home Buyers Club on Facebook. It's open to anybody. You want to learn about the market. You want to learn about like the home, more of this information about the home home buying process. You want to really understand like a buyer versus seller's market. You want someone to evaluate, where you are to see where you can go forward. Lock in, tap in with what we're doing here. And again, I want to shout out anyone that's watching this. You may be watching it live, and you may watch it again later.
Yeah.
Please DM us because we want to come to your church. We want to come to your organization. We want to share this information because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people aren't giving this out for free. We are, and we know what we're talking about, and we have connections with people in the industry, all facets of the industry. So
Yeah.
we want you guys to tap in with us, lock in with us. Again, I can't say it enough. It's free information. Free information that's going to change your life.
Yeah, right. And listen, this man is a budgeting wizard, right? So for those people who are having that initial issue with getting the money together, start early, start now. Maurice will get you tightened up and then get you ready to be in the market as a buyer, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the first piece. You want to get your money right. And when I say your money right, you don't have to be wealthy. You just want to be at a point that when it comes in, you know where it's going, right? So going back to the value, so we spoke about the Zillows and your Realtor.coms, which are gonna give you an idea of what the value is. But then there's the next level. The next way to find the value is by getting a comparative market analysis. That's called a CMA, a comparative market analysis. You could get one of those from a real estate agent, right? If you are in the market shopping around and you see a property that you like, ask the realtor that you're working with to do a CMA for you, a comparative market analysis, because that's going to be a lot more of a detailed assessment of what the area is doing. It's going to give you the property sales for the last 6 months, for the last year. And you'll be able to see what a market is doing in real time. That way, when you actually are able to get a value established by your realtor, it's going to hold a lot more weight than what you're just going to see online. So a CMA is the next way to go. All right. But when you're ready for the real deal, most accurate way to assess the value of your property is by getting an appraisal. Now, generally, appraisals could cost $550 to $700. So you don't necessarily want to spend that money. You want to do the preliminary research prior to getting to the point that you're actually now in contract on your property, and we need to know the value, right? Yeah. So utilize those other tools in the meantime. A CMA is phenomenal. Comparative market analysis that you can get from your local real estate agent, right? Or, just like when we talk about credit, I tell people I love Credit Karma. It's not at all accurate, but at least it's going to tell you what's wrong. It's going to tell you when you have a jump, it's going to give you that it jumped 20 points or 30 points or whatever it is. Or if it dropped, it's going to be some form of a gauge. So when you hone in and you get more diligent about your process, there are other tools that would be better. But a starting point, Zillow is the Credit Karma of home value. And then we get to go up and up and up that scale. And getting your credit ran is like getting an appraisal done.
And the other thing I like about Credit Karma, because like again, not that it's 100% accurate, but it's close enough. Because I know most banks they give you your FICO score, and that's more leaning towards what we look for, what they look for in the home buying process. But and you mentioned I love talking budgeting and credit, right? So for the budgeting aspect, I think the most important thing, if you want to become serious about becoming a homeowner, it's being disciplined with your finances. And being disciplined with your finances, you might not know where to start.
Right.
Get an account with Credit Karma. You can actually link all your bank accounts, all your money, what you're doing in one place. Track your credit score, manage your expenses. You can even add like your investment accounts in there. It's
Really?
all in one place. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, that's what I do. So like, well, and so you can see it online. And then outside of that, I like to write down what I do each month. You think it's up here, but you got to actually put that on paper and see where your expenses is going. And then the cool thing about the Credit Karma, what it does, it's like, okay, you spent this much, you spent this much less than last month.
Man, so Credit Karma ain't paying us.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
Not yet. Not yet.
No, but not yet.
Not yet.
They not. They not.
Zillow got to come with that bag too.
Yeah. So that's coming, y'all. That's coming, y'all.
Yeah.
But find a tool or resource. There's a lot of them out there. That's just one I use. That's well known. But there's a couple out there that will show you and manage that. Will do it for you. Use ChatGPT. Say, look, give me a budget strategy for 2025. This is what I make. This is what my expenses are. I literally did that like last month. So yeah, man. It starts with the budgeting, and then starts building your team, and then it goes up from there.
Right. So in this case now, on this process of going ahead and finding your house, utilize these online resources. They're very, very powerful because it gets you into the game. You can see virtual tours. You could explore whole neighborhoods. You could reach out to real estate agents that are local. You could get information to lenders and always compare the professionals that you're going to work with, right? But once you build your team and you start to hone in on the property that you like, you're going to have the people who are going to be able to scratch beneath the surface and let you know all of the details that are going to make this property a win or a loss for you. So just get started. Online search costs you nothing. And just play with it. Enjoy it. Don't make the process too stressful early out. Just take the time to get more acquainted with what the possibilities are. And a really good thing that I like about those options as well is they have a mortgage calculator. And it's important that with that mortgage calculator that you adjust for the down payment that you plan on making. But what we're going to be talking about in future broadcasts are we're going to be talking about where you can get that down payment money because it doesn't have to just come from your pocket. We already just gave you one resource.
Yeah.
You could have the seller give you money to close, but there are a lot more out there. So stay tuned. Keep coming back because we're going to keep on giving you the information that's going to demystify this whole home buying process. So one day you could be in the backyard chilling, overlooking the pool and the lake and all of that good stuff.
While the babies is crying in the background.
While the babies is crying in the background. No snacks, no peace.
Yeah, so go ahead and join us on Facebook. Go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe.
Yeah.
We're just kicking this thing off, y'all. But if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the chat. Whenever you're watching this, we check them almost every single day. Message us, DM us, however you want to get in touch with us. Reach out. We are here to help you. We want to see you win in 2025.
All right. And what we're doing is we also want to leave you with a case study. So today's case study was Mo's story. And I love Mo's story when he talks about it because like I could visualize it. I could see it. And we go to their house for Thanksgiving every year. And the chickens.
Oh yeah,
they got chickens and we get eggs.
We get eggs
because
of
the chickens.
Man.
But
2 for $5. 2 for $5. Y'all want some eggs?
Yeah. I want the chicken. I want the chicken.
That's smart. That's smart man right there.
That's right. Keep the eggs, give me the chicken. But his dream was the egg. And what's going to manifest is more chickens and more eggs.
Yeah.
What's your dream? Get connected to whatever that looks like. But just get started. The first house doesn't have to have everything. It's going to get you closer, though. So jump into the game. The water's great. And we can't wait for you to become a homeowner, too.
I like that, though. I like that. Yeah. I'm going to leave it on that, man. That was good, though. I'm going to just repeat what he said. Because I like the. I'm just kidding. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're here to help y'all. That was good. And we're going to catch you guys next week. Or if you join the group, we'll probably see you tomorrow morning. Talk to you guys.